Now let me talk to you about Mike Bruce, okay? Mike Bruce is one of my old friends, and I got a chance to help him start in strongman, and Mike is a special guy. Mike was U.S. Marine Corps veteran. He was the Marine Corps honor graduate of his boot camp class. He overcame a huge amount of insane abuse as a child, nearly being starved and beaten and crazy stuff, to become a self-made, amazing man because somebody stood up for him. A stepdad took care of his mom and helped him out and made things a whole better place and made Mike into an entirely different man. And I met him when we'd been talking on the internet. He got some of my stuff and he showed me some video. And this guy's a machine, man. This is what I did. And we gave him that nickname. Dennis Rogers gave him Mike the Machine Bruce. And that was his performing name. He became a performing strongman. He was super strong. He's one of the early underground MMA fighters and grapplers when it was like underground and like you never knew what was going to happen, kind of stuff. I mean, I'm talking about before it was on TV. And then Mike went on to later on own a successful gym and had a performing strongman career. And he's just a special guy with us because he's been a friend forever. And he is pretty much universally considered to have the strongest neck of anybody who is alive at the moment, and certainly just about of all time. We're going to start with showing you one of his world records. And in his video, he's going to talk to you about, I don't really do much of this anymore because he's super humble, and he's at a point in life where he wanted to move on and just concentrate on the gym and he doesn't perform anymore. But he literally set a world record at my house of doing 3 reps of a seated neck extension. And I'm not talking about a neck lift where you stand up with it. I'm talking about literally sitting down with a head harness, bending your neck over, and coming back up like that. He did 3 reps with 300 pounds. At less than 200 pounds body weight. And he also did a 1,500 pound hand and thigh lift, which became very influential with Noah, and he's going to talk to you about that, which Noah actually tied later in life at like 16 years old. And he's going to talk to you a little bit about that. He's going to tell you a funny story about Noah, and he's going to really tell you a little about Noah, the man. Mike is a man of his word, a stand-up guy, a truly great friend, and we want to let you hear him to finish out, and then we'll come back and say goodbye. I'm ready.
Go.
Go. Go. Go.
Take your time, pace yourself, don't rush. You're
okay.
Okay, 30 seconds. Plenty of time, take your time.
Go!
5, you got 18 seconds left.
Go!
10 seconds left.
Go!
Focus, Mike. Focus. Yes.
That's it.
Hello everybody, my name is Mike Bruce. Some of you in the strength industry might know me as Mike the Machine. It gives me great pleasure and an honor to be here to be able to share this video with you about one of the most powerful, kind, cut above young gentlemen I've ever had the pleasure of meeting, being Noah Jeffries. So we're going to do a little bit of a history lesson, give you some background about how I got to know Noah. I've got a very personal relationship with Noah and his family. It starts way back. I'll try not to waffle on too much. It'll be way back in 2002 is when his father, Bud, and I became friends. I saw Bud's amazing, ahead of its time course, Twisted Conditioning, back when dial-up was still going on for internet, you understand? Reached out, ordered his book, ordered another book, so on and so forth. Over the years, we became friends, and Bud then gave me my start as a performing strongman. Now, being that a lot of the gents on here and ladies are going to be performing feats of strength, I thought about that. It would be very easy for me to come out here and, being known as the net guy in a lot of the strength realms and bend a bar with my head or something, but, there's going to be plenty of awesome feats of strength and among other things, and it was on my heart to, I don't want to do that. If anybody's interested in things I've done, you know, you might be able to look on the wall. There's some stuff up down if you can see it, or you can do a search, but it's not about me. This is about Noah. Now, I met Noah. The first time I actually met Noah in person was May 6th, 2007. Right here in Lakeland, Florida, at a small little church down the street from where Bud and Heather and Noah lived. Okay, and that's also where I first met Dennis Rogers, who later on became my second mentor. Actually, Bud and Dennis are the gentlemen that gave me the name The Machine. Now, let me tell you a little bit about Noah. There's some interesting, funny things that have always stuck with me, especially considering the first time I met him. So Noah, I think he was 11 years old, I believe 11 or, I think it was 11 years old. Don't hold me to that. I don't think he was quite 13 yet. Might have been. But Noah was already my height and a big scrapping fella. And strong, didn't know his own strength. So his dad and I were rolling around wrestling in the living room. Because, you know, you get two testosterone-driven alpha males, right? And knowing my background as a submission wrestler many, many years ago, and Bud's background, we decided we're going to lock up and see if Bud the Bear would whoop up on the wolf being me. So we're rolling around, and it's quite interesting, going quite well. Well, Noah decides that since I'm whooping on his daddy's whooping on me, Noah wants to wrestle me. So kidding around, I'm thinking, well, I don't want to hurt the kid, right? Because again, you're talking, he's the same height, actually a little taller than me at the time, and outweighed me by I don't know how many pounds. So we start rolling around, and I'm working with him, just playing, you know, not going snug or stiff, nothing. Well, he comes at me full blast, and boom, see this big nose I got, big snoz, I look like Tigger for crying out loud, right? Look at this, the chin, the nose, ears. He smashes me in the nose, my nose starts to bleed, and therefore, surrender, white flag. So the guy supposedly known as the Machine is then whooped by an 11-year-old boy. So that was my first interaction. I got my tail handed to me from an 11-year-old. So that was the first thing. Another thing about Noah was, you know, if you be, I don't have children, but I used to do a lot of shows. I am a former performing strongman, former speaker. I no longer do any of that stuff. So when Bud asked me about this, of course, there was no question I was going to do it because Bud and Heather are dear to my heart, as is Noah. But I don't do that anymore. But when I did, you come across a lot of kids. My audience was always middle school kids. So anyways, Noah was super intelligent, just inquisitive, always asking questions and wanted knowledge. He didn't care about playing video games or playing with toys. He wanted to know what Daddy was doing and how he could be like that. And I would think if I ever had a son, of course I'm way past that game. I'm pushing 50 in the keister, but I would hope that my child, boy or girl, would be like that. Because he was just, knowledge is power, and the boy just wanted more and more, soaking in. So I'm going to leave you with this. I don't want to keep going on because we keep this kind of short, but there's another thing Noah did. So there is a hand and thigh lift that I did back in 2000, when was this? I'm sorry. May 2007 at Bud Jeffries and Heather Jeffries Strongman Compound, okay? At the time back then, partial pulls, rack pulls were not that big of a deal. No one was really doing them. So at 202 body weight, I pulled 1,500 pounds from roughly about 26 inches, a little bit above my knees. All right, so what? Big deal? No big deal. All right. Here's the kicker, though. I'm thinking that's a great thing. Bud's thinking that's a great thing. It's just a wonderful thing for a little skinny fella like myself to do that. Fast forward years later, 16, I think he was 16, Noah comes out and picks up, I think, 1,100 or something from the same height I did. 1,100. So what am I getting at? I'm getting at this. Sometimes in life, whether on the mat, in the ring, in the strength world, whatever it may be, you come across somebody that you know is special. You come across somebody that does things that you know you're not going to see again. That's trying not to get choked up. That's Noah. Noah was taken too soon, yes. His potential, gosh only knows. The young man was way beyond strength levels for someone his age, let alone seasoned, salty gents like myself and many others in the strength industry. Another thing with him was that we share the same affection for loving animals. Noah was, for being that young and that powerful, was the most kind, loving, classy, had great character, knew who he was at that younger age, knew who he was, you understand? That's the meaning of life, knowing who you are, not being a poser or carbon copy somebody else. Noah knew who he was at that young of an age. He always strived to build character, to build himself, to be better, but to be humble. You understand? Noah reminded me of a triple play, let's say, of Rambo, Clint Eastwood, and Indiana Jones. That, to me, is how I look at Noah. Noah, the best thing I can say is that he was a class act and a cut above. And I doubt in my lifetime anyway, we're going to see anybody else as a special prodigy that just has it like we had in him. So I'm Mike Bruce. It's a pleasure and an honor for me to be here. I hope that sheds some light with my relationship with Noah. And God bless Bud and Heather, and God bless this wonderful foundation. I hope everybody keeps striving to become better every day in whatever capacity that is, and to know who you are. I'm Mike Bruce. Appreciate you. Ciao.
Okay. I hope by seeing that you can see why we saved Mike for last. Because Mike is family to us. And Mike is something special. And he had very special things to say about Noah. And he wanted to save somebody who really did know Noah and had met him and what was going on to talk about it. And I forgot to mention I forgot to tell you what the feat was. That is insane. That's a world record that Mike set a while back. I forget. I think it was 8. I don't know how many. I think it was 8 half-inch steel bar he had bent behind Dave Whitley behind him, bent across the front of his throat. Oh, sorry. Evidently, I got to talk a little louder. That was 8, I believe, half-inch steel bars bent across the front of his throat. Like literally, probably not another human or two on the planet that can survive that. And you can see why we saved him for last. And Mike, we love you. We thank you. And we truly appreciate that. The first time either of us heard that, it made us cry.
Yeah.